The forest floor of Cathara Prime was treacherous even for the native species. For Lena Harrow, it was a death trap waiting to happen. She'd been warned about the moss-covered roots that concealed deep crevices, but 3 months of accident-free exploration had made her overconfident. The snap of ligaments echoed through the clearing, followed by a very human curse that sent the local bird analogues scattering into the canopy. Lena crumpled against a boulder, clutching her ankle as waves of pain radiated up her leg. The joint had already begun swelling, pressing against her boot like an overinflated balloon. She fumbled for her comm device, but the readout showed what she'd feared: no signal. The canyon walls were blocking transmission again. Perfect, she muttered, testing her weight on the injured foot. A fresh spike of agony convinced her that walking was not an option. That's when she heard them. The rustling in the undergrowth was too deliberate to be wind, too synchronized to be random wildlife. Lena's hand moved instinctively to the plasma pistol at her hip, though she'd never actually fired it outside of training simulations. 3 figures emerged from the forest shadow, Ketharon cubs, their scaled bodies barely reaching Lena's waist even when she was sitting, their eyes 6 per head, arranged in a predatory arc fixed on her with unsettling intensity. The lead cub's scales were a deeper crimson than his siblings, marked with the distinctive hunting stripes that would darken as he matured. "Human Lina?" the lead cub asked, in heavily accented standard. His mouth was full of needle-sharp teeth designed for tearing flesh. "That's me," Lena said, trying to keep her voice steady. She'd interacted with adult Ketharans at the research station, but cubs were supposedly feral until their 10th molting. These couldn't be more than 6 or 7 moltings old. "I'm okay. Just twisted my ankle." The cubs exchanged glances, their head crests flaring in what Lena had learned was their version of excited conversation. The lead cub she remembered now, the station commander's son, Sarek, stepped forward with disturbing purpose. "Ankle twisted is bad," Sarek declared with the absolute certainty of youth. "We help. We bring medicine." Before Lena could respond, all 3 cubs vanished back into the forest with the silent efficiency of apex predators. She considered calling after them, but the throbbing in her ankle suggested that any help would be welcome, even from children who could probably tear her throat out if sufficiently motivated. They returned within minutes. Sarek carried something cupped in his small, clawed hands with the reverence of a priest bearing holy relics. His siblings flanked him, their crests raised high with pride. "Best medicine," Sarek announced, kneeling beside Lena's injured leg. "Father uses for all hurts. Make clean. Make strong." He opened his hands to reveal a small vial of viscous, iridescent liquid that seemed to pulse with its own internal light. Lena's blood ran cold, as recognition hit her like a physical blow. That was Ketharan venom. Not just any venom, the concentrated neurotoxin that adult Ketharans use to paralyze prey 3 times their size. The substance was so potent that the research team's xenobiologist had nearly died from a single drop making contact with her exposed skin during a collection expedition. "Wait," Lena started, but Sarek was already unscrewing the vial with the determined focus of a child who absolutely knew what he was doing. "Must clean wound," he explained patiently, as if talking to someone very slow. "Poison kills bad things. Father says poison is best clean maker." The logic was horrifying, but from a Ketharan perspective, Lena realized, it was perfectly sound. Their venom was indeed antimicrobial when used on Ketharan physiology. Their cellular structure could withstand exposure that would cause catastrophic neural collapse in a human. The cubs had brought her their species equivalent of hydrogen peroxide, completely unaware that it was essentially liquid death to her biology. "That's very kind," Lena said carefully, her mind racing through diplomatic phrases. "But human medicine is different. Our bodies don't work the same way." Sarek's crest drooped, and his siblings shuffled closer protectively. "But Father says this medicine is strongest. Nothing stronger." "It's definitely strong," Lena agreed, watching the vial with the wariness of someone staring at a loaded weapon. "Too strong for humans. My body would react badly." "Very badly." "How badly?" the smallest cub asked, her voice barely a whisper. Lena considered sugarcoating it, but these were predator children. They respected truth, especially uncomfortable truth. It would probably kill me. Not because it's bad medicine, it's excellent medicine for Catharans. But for humans, it's poison. The clearing fell silent. 6 pairs of eyes, 18 eyes total, stared at Lena with dawning horror. Sarek looked down at the vial in his hands as if it had transformed into something monstrous. We almost. He couldn't finish the sentence. But you didn't, Lena said firmly. You asked first. That's what good medics do. They check before treating. We are not good medics, Sarek said miserably, his scales dulling with shame. We are stupid cubs who almost killed the nice human. You're smart cubs who wanted to help. Lena corrected. And you taught me something important, that Catharans and humans need very different medicines. That's valuable knowledge. The cubs didn't look convinced, but they carefully sealed the vial and tucked it away. Then, without a word, they formed a living stretcher, positioning themselves so Lena could lean on their surprisingly sturdy frames. Together, they began the slow journey back to the research station. When they arrived, Sarek's father, Commander Veshk, took one look at the guilty expressions on his son's face and the injured human and immediately understood something had gone terribly wrong. As the station medic treated Lena's ankle, Sarek confessed everything, his voice small and ashamed. Commander Veshk listened in silence, then placed a clawed hand on his son's head. You made a mistake born of kindness, he said. And when you realized the mistake, you asked questions. This is how warriors learn. He turned to Lena, his ancient eyes glinting with something that might have been amusement. I apologize for my son bringing you death in a bottle. I appreciate that he brought it with good intentions, Lena replied, accepting the painkillers the medic offered, definitely human-safe painkillers. Besides, it makes for a great story. The day I almost got murdered by kindness. Sarek's crest perked up slightly. It is funny story? Eventually, Lena promised. Give it a few years. As the cubs filed out, still subdued but slightly less devastated, Commander Veshk lingered. You handled that well, he said. Many species would have reacted with fear or anger. They were just kids trying to help, Lena said with a shrug. How could I be angry about that? The commander's crest flared, in what she'd learned was approval. This is why humans are dangerous, he said, and there was something like respect in his tone. You turn even your near deaths into teaching moments. What predator can defend against such aggressive compassion? Lena laughed despite the throbbing in her ankle. In the distance, she could hear Sarek explaining to his siblings, in the universal tone of children who'd just learned something shocking, that humans were weird and backwards, but also really, really nice. She supposed there were worse reputations to have on an alien world. Humanity's most dangerous weapon, she thought with a smile, might just be the ability to forgive the unforgivable and find friendship in the most unlikely places, even when those places came bearing death in a bottle, wrapped in good intentions.